Everyone is lying to you about Zone 2. Your watch, your favorite fitness influencer, those supplement companies, the podcast bro that hooked you on their mitochondrial subscription. They're all feeding you Zone 2 cardio nonsense that keeps you confused about everything, except what they're selling you. I'm Tom Smoot, your favorite biomedical engineer and former special operations soldier. I've built and tested the sensors inside these heart rate monitors you wear. I'm going to give you the one tool that cuts through every bit of that BS. It's free, it's been validated against lactate testing, and you've had it your entire life. Yes, it's the talk test. Now, before you cry and swear and insist you found the best fitness tracker, I'm going to show you exactly why the device sitting on your wrist right now is physically incapable of finding your Zone 2, and why this bajillion-dollar industry already knows that. Let's start with the hardware, because this is where the lie begins. Your watch doesn't measure your heart's electrical signal. It shines a little green light into your skin and measures the changes in the shadows and because of the blood flow. That's called photoplasmography. I've built these sensors. I know exactly what they're designed for and exactly where they fall apart. Ready to hear where they fall apart? Movement. When you run, your wrist moves. That movement introduces noise directly into the optical signal. A recent study found wrist-worn devices specifically have an average error around 6 beats per minute during activities. That error gets dramatically worse during dynamic movement. That's not a rounding error. It's not a firmware problem. It's physics. But here's where it gets worse. Another recent study took identical Whoop 4 devices, put them on the wrist, the forearm, and the upper arm of the same person at the same time. Same hardware, same person, same moment. The upper arm consistently outperformed the wrist. And during high intensity movement, no matter where they placed the sensor on the wrist, the readings never reached even 50% consistency. In other words, wrist placement never gave a reliable, repeatable value. This was the researchers' own conclusion. If you're relying on wrist-based heart rate to get your Zone 2 training, you are almost certainly training in the wrong zone. So the signal is corrupted. But let's say it wasn't. Let's say your watch is reading your heart rate perfectly. You'd still have a second problem, because that heart rate number doesn't mean anything until it's compared against your maximum heart rate. And your maximum heart rate was probably calculated wrong. Years ago in the Army, they taught us how to find our max heart rate. We're not exactly known for being book smart. So it's a simple formula. 220 minus your age. The problem is there are devices and apps that use that formula. And in a 2001 study from the Journal of American College of Cardiology, they found the estimate off by 10 to 12 beats per minute. For a 40-year-old, that means your device thinks your max heart rate is 180, but your actual max could be anywhere from 168 to 192. Super. Every zone is built on top of that error. So we have an invalid signal, we also have the wrong ceiling, and now, just not too long ago, researchers recently tested 16 commercial wrist-based devices head-to-head against an accurate ECG stress strap across a full spectrum of exercise and activities. That's Apple, Garmin, Polar, Samsung, Sunto, all of them. The finding? Accuracy was device-dependent and error increased as intensity increased. The researchers themselves concluded the training data from these devices, quote, should be interpreted with caution. Not my words. That's from the researchers who actually ran the study. So a billion-dollar industry is selling zone training products on a measurement stack that corrupts the signal, miscalculates the ceiling, and gets less accurate exactly when you need it most. And when it doesn't work, when you can't find Zone 2, when the numbers don't make sense, you don't blame the watch. You blame your fitness. You buy upgrades, you buy subscriptions. To quote Garmin, you're unproductive. Confusion is the product. And I'm with you. I know this firsthand, because even knowing everything I just told you, I still couldn't find Zone 2 for years. And the reason had nothing to do with sensors. I'm a biomedical engineer. I understand the sensors at a circuit level. I knew wrist placement was not ideal. I even stuck to a chest strap, and I still couldn't find Zone 2. I'd head out for a run, look down, and my heart rate was already 130 before I'd ever broken a sweat. I'd slow down to a shuffle. The number wouldn't move. I consistently questioned my training, my recovery, my fitness, even bought a new watch. Same problem. So I took a step back and looked at my training like an engineer. I was looking at the rest of the equation, my recovery, and how hard I was training. Then I noticed I train hard. My life is busy. I never got up and ran without a supplement or coffee. Duh, it's the coffee. So in the US, 2 cups of coffee is about 12 ounces, let's say. That's around 200 milligrams of caffeine. It raises your resting and submaximal heart rate, maybe 5 to 10 beats per minute. That's more if you're not even a regular user. Even more if you're stacking some kind of pre-workout on top. So what actually happened every morning was this. I dose up, my heart rate jumped, and my already compromised wrist sensor read that chemically elevated number and told me I was in zone 3 or zone 4 before I'd done anything that remotely looked like fitness. I wasn't physiologically in zone 3, I was just caffeinated. My heart rate monitor can't tell the difference. It has no idea what I'm drinking or what I'm taking before I go out for a run. It just sees a number and reports it accordingly. But here's why this matters beyond my little personal story. The bajillion-dollar wellness industry sells you the pre-workout that elevates your heart rate. They also sell you the device that misreads your elevated heart rate as a training zone. And when your device tells you you're overreaching, they have just the right recovery supplement. 3 separate products, 1 big fancy expensive loop, and all of us are funding every link in that chain. No way am I telling you to quit caffeine. I still drink coffee. I won't stop. But if you've ever stood on a treadmill wondering why zone 2 feels ridiculous, try a session without coffee first, or caffeine. Caffeine's half-life is around 5 hours for the average person. But try it, give it a test. Because if your baseline heart rate is chemically elevated and your device is already miscalculating your max, you are never going to find zone 2 anyway. That system is working exactly as designed. So the hardware is broken, the inputs are compromised, and the zone you were chasing was calculated from a formula that was never meant for this purpose. Then we're back to the one tool that everybody hates because it's not sexy, but it's free and you've had it your entire life. It's the talk test. It's not an app, it's not a subscription, there's no firmware update, it also has no price tag. Maybe you've heard of it, but let's get into the science behind it. Basically, it goes like this. Converting fat to energy is a slow process. It's called lipolysis. Intense exercise burns energy faster than lipolysis can provide it. When your body needs more energy than fat can supply, it makes you breathe harder to convert other fuels. That's when you lose your breath and talking gets tough. Once you're there, you've crossed out of zone 2 and into zone 3. This is basic cellular metabolism. If you're interested in this stuff, you should read more about the tricarboxylic acid cycle, or the TCA cycle, or the Krebs cycle, whatever you learned in high school. But back to the talk test. Here's exactly how you use it. While training, speak a full sentence out loud. To a training partner, into your phone, just talk to yourself. You're looking for 2 things simultaneously. 1, you can complete the sentence. 2, anyone listening knows you're working. You're not strolling, you're not chatting comfortably, you're exercising, and it's audible. If you can sing, you're in zone 1, you can push a little harder. If you can only gasp 3 words, that's not zone 2, slow down. Full sentence, audible effort, that's your zone. Notice what this tool just does. It skips heart rate entirely. You're measuring ventilation, not pulse. It's immune to devices and their errors because you're not chasing a number. It's immune to caffeine for the same reason. Your ventilatory threshold doesn't move because you've had 2 cups of coffee. Your heart rate does. The talk test doesn't care. And this works with any device. That $4,000 Garmin calling you unproductive? Yep. That $60 Fitbit? Yep. And it works on no watch at all. It worked before they ever existed, and it'll work after we move on. Because it's measuring the physiological event directly, not a proxy for a proxy. Since we're addressing heart rate zones, if you want better data, which can honestly be useful, just get the sensor off your wrist. A chest strap or upper arm optical sensor gives you dramatically cleaner signal. Save the notifications for your wrist. Listen, before I wrap up here, if you're still watching, there's a good chance someone you know is incredibly misinformed about zone 2 cardio. Here's what actually happened in the zone 2 space. Real exercise physiology got picked up by an industry that needed a story to sell hardware. And the hardware doesn't deliver on the story. Instead of fixing the hardware, they call you unproductive and partner with the people selling you recovery and support. The science was never the scam. The merchants are. You already have the one tool they can't monetize, so use it. Now, if this helped you at all, mash those buttons so I can follow along. It costs you nothing, and it tells the algorithm this is worth showing to someone else. If you're not going to share it yourself, that might help someone you know who spends their time staring at their heart rate or comparing supplement subscriptions. Help them live their life instead. We shall be doing a little more looking out for each other anyway. Now go find your actual zone 2.